think about the pea, the power of what's inside here, the texture in here, the pastiness, the certain way that it collapses and it flavors things and it adds sweetness to things. An amazing, amazing product, and it's so healthy for you, for digestion, for fiber. I mean, nutrition's a big part of this here, guys. So we're peeling onions, we're making pasta with peas. Pasta with please, pasta with peas, please. Can I please have some peas? It's the spring, it's a perfect time to have this. This is the classic way that it's made up in the north of Italy. I'm not going to use tomato and cream here. I do another pasta with peas where I do it with tomato and cream, and it's designed for children. This is not that one. This is the classic one. We start off with onions. We're going to score the onion just a little bit like that. Nice sharp knife should score it nice and easy. Boom, just like that. We're going to peel this off, and we're saving everything. I use all these skins. My Brodo method, which is in my highlights on Instagram, which we will soon put here on YouTube as well. Hands, wash our hands. In the kitchen, we must wash our hands, or we must wear gloves. In your home kitchen, if you keep your hands clean, you wash your hands often enough. I don't feel it's necessary to wear gloves. So I don't. Now the trick to not crying with onions is not exposing yourself to the juice, not exposing yourself to the cut open side of the onion. If the onions have a lot of this particular acid that makes your eyes tear, and some do, and you never know when they do, when they are, or when they're not going to have it. Okay. The trick is to keep, after you cut them, to keep them away from underneath your head, because that's where all that is going to come, and it's going to make you cry. So if you're chopping a bunch of onions and you're leaving this whole onion stack right in front of you, you're going to start crying. You cut and you make enough room, or you put it in a container and you put the container away from your face. So now I want, this is, a pasta with peas is basically onions and peas. So I want to get multiple textures out of the onions. Okay, I want some to be cut a little bit bigger. This is just like a regular dice. It's kind of uneven, you can see. Okay, there's some pieces that are even a little bit larger because I want that kind of rustic feeling to it. I want some of it to, to stay bigger and not fall apart too much. And then I'm going to mince these like super, super, super fine. And these will almost puree with the peas. They'll get very, very soft, and it'll also help to create that sauce that's going to coat the pasta. So by using different textures on the onions, I'm controlling the texture of the sauce. And there's only 2 ingredients. So this is really what you need to do with things like this, is really think outside the box and complicate the simple through texture. That's it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And of course you can have larger pieces mixed in with these smaller pieces. Just try and make it as small as you can. Don't kill yourself over it. So we're going to pull them away. I should have done this earlier, but I was talking to you guys and I'm already starting to cry a little bit. My own fault. This liquid that's on the table should not be right under my head, should not be right under my nose. You can see it. You want to stop crying, you clean the table now. That's how you stop crying. I made the mistake that you guys make, and I'm crying. It happens. Okay, so now, like I said, if I keep the cut ones away from me, and I keep this away from me, I won't cry. Push it away from me. Go like this. I'm going to keep pushing it, see? I'm not going to let it stay underneath my nose. Keep pushing it away. This is the only way I know not to cry while you're cutting onions. Everything else is bullshit. Some people say you put a piece of bread in your mouth. It's never worked for me. I don't know what the f that's supposed to do. Let's sweat the onions. That's the first thing we do, always. We're going to sweat. High burner at first to get everything nice and hot, covered with olive oil. We're going to sweat them. We're going to make them translucent. We're going to trap everything by covering it. Boom. This is a massive pot because I get the quickest evaporation out of this pot. So I can quickly reduce things in here, especially tomato sauces. This is great for tomato sauces. So what is sweating? Well, imagine it. Okay, it's low temperature. One of the reasons why we sweat is because it controls the temperature inside the pot. Even if you're on a high heat, It's trapping the steam, and the steam ensures that the temperature in here does not go above 212 degrees. Perfect for not getting color on onions, but still trapping all the flavor and creating a little bit of pressure and making the translucent onions. It's the perfect way to walk into a pasta with peas. Peas are not usually available year-round. I eat them year-round. I think they're great for kids. I love frozen peas. I think they freeze amazing. I think they're absolutely perfect. Good for you, very healthy. There's nothing wrong with using frozen peas. It's a great thing to have in the freezer and a quick meal for your family. Okay, and that's what we really do it for. That's what we use the frozen peas for. Having that ability to make a healthy meal, very, very healthy, delicious meal, very, very quickly for the family. It's really important. Let's take a look at our onions. And you can see there's no color because the steam is trapped in there. I have this on like a high flame right now, and it's not going to turn color because the temperature will not go above 312 degrees, which is what you need to caramelize sugar, which is in the candied yam method, which I'm hoping you guys just saw. We're very close here. Now we're going to add in the peas. And you can see how uneven the onions are on purpose, giving us extra texture. In go the peas. Now we go high heat again, but cover off. We no longer need the cover. Pasta with peas, the bee's knees. What do you think, Peps? You know pasta with peas? How about you, Peps? Just a touch of white wine to help with the acidity here. There's no acid going on here whatsoever. When I do it with the tomato cream, I don't put wine. So this, I feel, needs a little bit of wine. So throw some in. How much? I don't know. How much? Doesn't matter. Put some. Smell it. Put a little more. Smell it again. See if you think it's enough. Taste it. Don't worry about it. You're not going to die from too much wine in your pasta with peas. Or too little, for that matter. Okay, so now we're just going to reduce the wine by like a quarter, by like 25%. We don't really need to reduce it down for this. We want to leave some of that wine flavor, a little bit of that acidity. People do use broth for this in Italy as well. I'm using water, okay? So we're going to cook the peas now, a little bit of water. We're going to puree some of them, throw it back in, and that's our sauce. Just enough water to be able to create a nice pea sauce. If you put too much, you're going to have to reduce it. There's no need for that. Might as well put just enough. That's going to be perfect, just a little more. Basically covered the peas and they're floating very freely and very easily. That's how much liquid you put. You can see they're floating freely. So we're going to pull some out. You can see I've already pulled some out because we're going to puree some of it to help with the body of the sauce. Since there really is no sauce, since the peas are the sauce, we're going to pulse them inside the blender and then throw it right back in. Then we're going to hit it with bay leaves. So now we're just going to blend it up a little bit. We don't want to make it completely smooth. We just want to add body because the peas have body inside them. Each pea has that like pastiness that really is great for sauces. And that's it. Just give it a little body. See? See already what just that little bit pea puree has done for the sauce. It creates body. It helps it to coat the pasta. It's beautiful. The sauce is basically ready. Now we're going to add fresh bay leaves in this. It's critical. It's three main flavors really. Peas, onions, and bay leaves. And the three of those things together are absolute perfection. I mean, you don't need anything else. A little Parmigiano we're going to add into it as we toss the pasta. More extra virgin olive oil and you're done. So this goes up to a boil, 15 minutes, it's done. So now peas are very sweet, onions are very sweet. There's no reason to salt this. I'm going to over salt the water for the pasta. So the pasta will carry the needs of the salt for the dish. So every time you eat a piece of pasta, the pasta's salty, but the peas are sweet. If I put salt in here, it tones down the sweetness on the peas, and then I salt this also, it's a much less enjoyable experience. Over salt your pasta water for pasta, also for tomato sauce. Same thing. It's a fruit, it's a tomato. It's kind of yin and yang to sweet. You put salt, it lowers sweetness. You put sugar, it lowers saltiness. You know, they work against each other. When you're using these larger cuts, especially rigatoni and packery, you're going to find that there are broken pieces in it. It almost always has broken pieces in it. So what we do is we lay it on the table and we make sure we're not going to put broken pieces into our pasta. It looks terrible. See, look at all these broken pieces. Blow in the hole! And that's how you taste a piece of rigatoni. Almost there. Al dente or I'll bust your legs. Shatter your endoskeleton. I'm going to leave this extra al dente because we're going to cook it in the sauce in this pot. So I'm going to strain it out, throw it back in this pot, cover it in peas and liquid, and cook it the last couple of minutes right in the sauce. Now you could cook the rigatoni right in the sauce, right there the whole way. But you're going to need to add more liquid to it. But it comes out great that way too. It's just a little faster. There you go. Strain it out. Shake out some water. Use a little bit of the water. No problem. Now we come over here and finish it up right in the sauce. Now we melt right on a low flame right in the sauce. This is what makes it all come together. I'm going to finish it with Parmesan cheese. We want the cheese to melt in. And in order to have it melt in easily, we need to use either the finest, the very finest, or the medium fine side. You can see these are like little starbursts. And these are smaller starbursts. Okay? I'm going to use the smallest because I want it to melt in very easily. What we call mantecato al parmigiano, which means to whisk it in, to like melt it in, to fortify it with the cheese. The cheese is what helps make the sauce. You can see I'm using the surface area of the whole, all the cheese, and all of the grater. Dust. A little more and we're good. Now with the heat off, we melt in the cheese. The sauce gets cheesy. The combination of the Parmigiano, peas, the olive oil, the onions, and the bay leaves. It's quite irresistible. I mean, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to crave this quite a bit. And that's perfect amount. So here we go. A beautiful Pasta Piselli. Anoint the living. And boom, there it is. Done. Do the same thing over here. Touch extra virgin, anoint the night. Perfect. Great body, great texture. See the peas? There are pieces of onion. There are minced onion, a very small, can't even see. And there are actual hunks of onion.